Well, hello, everybody, and happy Friday evening to you. It's our live event as we give away to our operating crew. And joining me tonight, amongst all the hats that he wears, the man from Model Train Resource, Tony Cook. Tony.
Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Doing awesome. Doing awesome. Good to see you. And excited to give away yet another item to our operating crew. And you've put up a great item tonight, and we'll certainly be getting to that in a moment. I'm going to quickly go through here and say hello to a few people that are joining us here live on this Friday night. We got John Garvin joining us. Good to see you, John. And we've got Dundas Junction joining us from Canada. So good to see you. And I'm sure we got a lot of folks piling in here. If you are here, make sure you drop in and say hello in the chat. We'll be happy to say hi back to you, and be glad to have you join us here. If you're catching this on the replay, again, we're here to give away the operating crew item for November, but we're also here to make a couple announcements as well. So a couple exciting things happening with the podcast. And most folks know Tony for joining me monthly on the What's Happening in Model Railroad segment. And now we have a new segment that going on to that show. And it's going to be one that's going to test Tony's model railroad knowledge. So Tony's excited about it. I know he is. He's a little worried, but he's also, we've got the encyclopedia of model railroading sitting on the other side of the screen here. So this is going to be fun. So we're going to be doing a new segment. And of course, I'm a little slow with the slides here, but we're going to be doing a segment called Ask Tony. So this is going to be fun. So we're going to try to get some questions out to Tony. He's going to be answering them during that. And the way you submit them is you're actually going to leave us a voicemail through the website. So you get to hear your question as you say it, and then Tony will answer it. We're going to pick a couple questions each month, and Tony will again answer them during that What's Happening in Model Railroad segment. I want to show you folks real quick, and if you bear with me, because I'm not a guy that does a whole lot of live here, I'm going to show you exactly how this works. So you're going to go to aroundthelayout.com/asktony. We'll put that link up here on the screen in a moment, and it'll also be available in the menu when you go to aroundthelayout.com. You're going to scroll down, and you'll see this button right here that says Start Recording. It'll give you a prompt to record, and then it'll ask you if you're okay with your recording, put your name and your email address. We've given you a little script here to help you. So what you're going to do is say, hi, my name is Ray, and I'm from Plainfield, Connecticut. And then I'm going to say my question for Tony is, and then ask the question. And then once you submit it, we'll go through. We'll pick a couple of those questions. You'll hear yourself leaving that voicemail on the show, and then Tony will provide an answer for you. So hopefully this will be a good, fun opportunity for you to hear yourself on Around the Layout in the What's Happening in Model Railroad segment. And then, of course, getting your question answered by Tony Cook. What do you think, Tony?
That is really cool, Ray. I love the being able to record and hear that. Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of emails and messages and things of people asking questions, but to actually get to hear it, that's cool. I like that. That's a very neat thing you got set up there.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to hearing folks talking to us and leaving messages, and of course, asking those questions is going to be a lot of fun. So looking forward to doing that on the next What's Happening in Model Railroad, which will be November 21st. So I will need your questions by, and I say Tony will also we will need your questions by November 14th. So if you can get those to us, we will go through. We'll pick a couple of them. We'll answer them live on the show. We'll answer them on the show, and then you'll be able to listen to them on that Tuesday when the What's Happening in Model Railroad segment comes out. So
very cool. That's
thanks.
Very cool.
And I think it's going to be a lot of fun, Tony. So
it's a fun show. I love that, visiting with you each month and talking about new products. And we always have a fun guest from the industry that we get to learn more about, kind of the behind the scenes. It's a really fun show.
I have an absolute blast doing it. It is so neat that, like you said, you get that inside baseball information on the manufacturing side. It really is cool. And the folks we've talked to, and then the folks we have lined up, I mean, it's just going to be a lot of fun to talk to those folks. And then, of course, after that, you answering their questions. And then we talk about all the news that's happening. And it just seems to be a steady stream of new releases. And there was
Always
announcements today and everything, and
Yes.
on and on. So it definitely is a lot of fun to talk about all of that. So again, the website aroundthelayout.com/ask Tony. A link will be live a little bit later tonight on that. So you'll be able to go right to aroundthelayout.com and then click on the Ask Tony link. So appreciate you doing that for us, Tony. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It should be very neat. That's a great idea. When you asked me about that, I was like, oh, that's very cool. Yeah.
Got Robert Thomas joining us tonight. He's saying hello. So good to see him joining us here live on a Friday night.
He has a fantastic layout and great modeling skills. He shares pictures I'm sure you've seen on Facebook. It's like I think he's in Texas is where he resides. And yeah, I've got to see his layout sometime.
Yeah, definitely. Throw that information up. It'd be great to check that out as well. And see what you got going on there, Robert. And then New Haven Rails joining us tonight as well. So good to see you. Quentin Webb joining us. Greetings to you too, Quentin, and good to see you here tonight. So let's get to the operating crew giveaway. You've got a really nice item that you have sponsored up. So let me just start to clear. Yeah, just hold it up on the screen, but I do have a picture of it.
Oh, do you? Okay,
there
you go.
Do. Yeah. So I didn't want your arms to get tired. So
good. Yes. Yeah.
I said, you know what, Ray, you can do this. You can do it. You can do it. There it is.
Ah, there it is.
Awesome. Well, it's sort of good. Let's get rid of that banner.
A thing of beauty. Boy, I mean, Rapido. This is a single sheath wood boxcar, Southern Pacific prototype, their B50-15 class. And this one is got a Viking roof. The one that I'm sending, okay, they put a span of years, 1931 to 1946. So late steam to the very beginning of diesel, but boy, they're just beautiful cars. And I've got a review of these coming up in Model Railroad News. And when you ask about something for the crew giveaway, it's like, boy, these are such good looking cars that this would be a fun piece for somebody to have. So I have one of those. And then, as I mentioned, I'll also include the latest November's Model Railroad News. I'll put a copy of that in when I package up the box.
Yeah, that's a nice prize there, a beautiful looking car and a great magazine to read all the latest news in the hobby. So really cool to be able to give this away to our operating crew. So thank you. And beautiful car Rapido has put together. They get a lot of really great stuff going on. I got to check them out in Essex, Connecticut. They had a little bit of a meet and greet there going on down there. And boy, they got some great projects going.
From all different... That's the thing I like about Rapido is, again, this is an older prototype. They have brand new rolling stock they're working on too. You know, all the diesel locomotives. I mean, all over the place. If you're a modeler and you can't find something in Rapido's line that fits your ear or your taste, you're not trying. Boy, I've been working with their new U25B HO diesels this week for January's Model Railroad News cover story, and wow, they're beautiful, really nice.
Yeah, they've got some really great products and even neater projects coming, and kind of got a little bit of a hint and preview of some of those as well. So a lot of fun stuff coming out of Rapido, but we're going to be giving away this car tonight. And Tony, I got somebody posing a little bit of a question. Robert Thomas, did you? This is a challenge for Tony.
And I did, because I took that picture for Ray. I first took the picture of it in the box, and I thought, well, and so yes, I took the car out of the box to take this picture. But I assure you, I did not ham-fistedly handle it. That it's just as mint and new and back in its package and ready to head off to someone's collection. So
awesome stuff. Well, appreciate you supporting the operating crew. And before we get to the wheel and spin it, I want to thank the operating crew again for all your support for the Around the Layout podcast. You're the folks that help keep this moving down the rails, and I appreciate all the support. All the operating crew has provided the ability for us to keep every podcast available from episode 1 now up through 51 of interviews, plus the what's happening and all the specials that we've done. And it also allows me to do the stuff like going to the train show in Vernon, Connecticut, which was a lot of fun, and meeting people there. And we'll also support some of our upcoming projects, including an appearance at the Hub show in December, and of course the Amherst show in late January. So thank you to everyone for your support. I certainly appreciate it and love to be able to give these things away to you. So let's see if we can get the big wheel up here, Tony, and let's give it away. There it is.
Wow.
Look at that. The big wheel of winning. Look at all those people on there. Isn't that awesome? So much support. It's really humbling. I really appreciate all of it. So we're going to give it a spin and see if we can get a winner. Here we go. Chris Palmieri.
I have his address.
I bet you do. Chris Palmieri, congratulations. You're the winner of the Rapido car. We're going to give a freelance model railroader a prototype HO car. This is a good thing. That's a cool thing.
Wow, so that is awesome. Yeah, Chris is Mr. Home Shops, as many people know, and fantastic stuff. So that's awesome. That's very cool. Congratulations.
And a huge supporter of Around the Layout podcast. So it's always fun to give something back. And Chris, congratulations. This is going to be good.
Very cool.
So let's move that off the screen. But our winning is not quite over yet, Tony. We've got something else to give away. So we've also announced the promotion that we've been doing over the last couple of months, and then some specials on it as well. We have a promotion called Wear a Shirt, Win a Shirt. We're always on the lookout for fans wearing Around the Layout t-shirts and social media in person. And we select a random winner each month to win a new t-shirt. We also did it at the Vernon Train Show, and Mike Wheeler was the winner there. And we have a winner for the month of October. It's going to be a familiar face, Tony.
Yeah?
It's going to be a familiar face.
Is it somebody I know?
I don't know. You know,
I know that guy.
I think we all know that guy. That's Mr. President.
That is President Gordy Robinson. Wow. And yes, he is wearing an Around the Layout podcast. Where is he? Do you know? What layout is that?
I am not sure on the layout. Wow. I know this was during the Northeast region. If anybody is watching and knows what layout it is, please chime in the comments. I'll definitely put that up there. But Gordy was wearing it, and I think he did a couple he did a layout tour that day. So I think there was multiple layouts, but there he is on Long Island, New York, wearing an Around the Layout podcast t-shirt. So we'll be sending another Around the Layout podcast t-shirt to Gordy, who I believe is in a big tube on his way back to Scotland, and not the little town in Connecticut that I grew up in. He's going to the real one across the pond. So we'll be shipping a shirt across the pond and chasing him with it. So Thank you, Gordy, for your support of Around the Layout podcast and showing your fandom to the world as you wear your shirts out in public. And if you want to win a shirt, just got to wear a shirt. And if you want to get a shirt, go to aroundthelayout.com, click on the fan shop. You can order a t-shirt. We keep the prices low, and we'll run a sale from time to time, so keep an eye out for that. But get yourself a t-shirt and get caught wearing one. You could win yet another. And then I'll also tell you, the next two shows, it won't be wear a shirt, win a shirt. It'll be wear a shirt, win some stuff. So you will definitely want to be spotted at the next two shows wearing an Around the Layout podcast t-shirt, because we have stuff to give away. So
awesome. Wow.
And Darren just got his from last month. He's got a nice polo sitting at the post office. Hopefully he picked it up. He just came back from a long bit of travel, so he won't have to do at least laundry for another day, because he'll have a nice clean shirt sitting in his post box. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So Darren, it was good to see you, and good to see you from Queensland, Australia. It must be early there right now. I have to keep a clock with Paul Cassar. I have one on my phone. It
Oh, so
tells
you
me
know
what
what
time
the
it is, so I know not to wake Paul up too early. He gets grumpy when you wake him up too early.
well, I think we mentioned Gordy's president, but did we say National Model Railroad Association?
Did
I
we?
mean, yeah, I
I
don't
I
know
guess
that
we
we
assume
did.
he
Yeah,
was the president of the
he was the
National Model
president of
Race.
the NMRA, NMRA.org. Yeah, that
That's right.
and we just we did a special show with the person that's doing their social media. So look them up on Facebook and follow the NMRA.org on Facebook too.
On Facebook, on Instagram, on
Oh yeah,
TikTok, on Discord. They are just hitting it from every angle.
every angle.
It's
Yeah,
been fantastic. Let's
definitely. Yeah.
say hello to a couple more people here, and let's let's start with a question answered. When we asked Tony, we're going to actually give Tony some answers. Robert Thomas is in
Yeah.
San Antonio, so not too far from when you were down in that Houston area. So
No, yeah.
there you go. Eric Pacelli, good to see you. Yep.
No,
shirt
Eric.
giveaway.
Yeah.
So good to see you, Eric. Again, yep. John, well, we appreciate your generosity and your support of Around the Layout podcast. So thank you again for what you do. And what else we got? John Meekish. I think it was that who that is. Jay Meekish. Good evening to you too. Aunt Palmer, good to see you. I think Paul does a good job of spreading the word down there in Australia. We got a lot of folks that I had a debate of whether they thought I was the Ray Arnott from Ray Arnott and the Rude Dudes, which was an Australian rock band. But yeah, I think they quickly figure out that I'm not that guy. So it's 11 a.m. Sydney time. Very good.
Wow. Okay. Wow. All right.
Got one more thing to tell you folks, and this also involves Tony. We are going to be appearing on TSG Multimedia's Talking Trains Live. That will be Wednesday, November 15th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And as Tony said earlier, if you need to translate that, just use some of the technology. You'll have to tell that story.
Oh, yes. I think anything when someone, how you put these things into your computer, like when I get a link for a show like this, Ray is Eastern Time, I'm Central Time, and somehow the thing in my email moves it to my time. But then I start debating, but wait a minute, he's Eastern. So I always end up having to text or email Ray and go, okay, my link says 7, but would that be 6 for me? Or is it 8 for you and 7 for me? And now I'm even further confused. But anyway, back to what I was trying to say is anytime I see something neat that automatically does that, it's like, wow, it's amazing all the stuff we harvested out of that Roswell crashed UFO so many years ago. I mean, this was a fully featured UFO that crashed out there. I mean, that we get all this technology. So it's fantastic.
It definitely wasn't the base model that came off the lot. It was the one with every feature on it.
It had everything. It had the power windows and the 6-way seats and all that. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
no doubt. But back to the point here. TSG Multimedia, they're Talking Trains Live. We're going to have 3 different podcasts. Myself, we're also going to have Andy Dorsch representing the Second Section podcast and Tom Geisher representing the Crossing Gate podcast. We'll be talking all things podcasts and what our shows are about and why folks should be listening, and just having a whole bunch of fun with John Abacola, and looking forward to that night on November 15th. That'll be live, which I don't like to do live, but we're going to be doing live. So Ray's going to have to polish up, and Tony will be co-hosting. So
yes,
we'll definitely have a lot of fun doing that and chatting, and definitely make sure you join in for that. And I think he'll be taking your comments as well and questions via the same media we're basically doing here. And we'll share a link to that so you can be able to check in with us and join us on that night. So November 15th, 7 p.m. Eastern, we'll be going live.
That will be a lot of fun. You said Andy is going to represent for Second Section. Do they not let Mike?
I think they kind of keep him caged in between shows. I mean, we got to, keep him under control. Good
old Mike Ostertag. He's a very good friend of mine.
Mike was a lot of fun. Mike was a lot of fun on the podcast. If you haven't caught it yet, we had a lot of fun on the his interview on Around the Layout. He talked about S scale and all things 1/64th scale, and was trying to pass out the Kool-Aid to get more people to join them. So
I know
that was a lot of fun. But Mike is
always.
an entertainer, and it was great to have
He
him on the
is.
show.
He is one of the meals I look forward to all year long is always at the St. Louis RPM on the Saturday morning of the RPM is Friday and Saturday. That Saturday morning, it's always my assistant editor, my friend Shane Mason, and then Mike Ostertag that we always have breakfast at Waffle House, and that's always an event.
I'm going to let you know your back seat is starting to fill up for the St. Louis RPM in 2024.
Really? Wow.
Right.
Well, yeah, and we spend Friday evening in Kirkwood watching trains. So yeah, I mean that's a big weekend for us. So whoever's coming along, that'll be fun. Yeah.
Well, I'm making plans to make it out there, and I'm hoping a bunch of folks do as well. That's the RPM that so many have talked about, and I can't delay any longer. I've got to get out there and check it out. So looking forward to making my final plans to get out there and check out the St. Louis RPM in 2024. Really having a lot of fun, even just going to even the one-day train event that I did this past weekend. Just so great to get out there and see folks and hear about their passion for the hobby and meet and greet. It's just a lot of fun to be out there and at the foot of the listener for sure.
Did you buy anything?
I didn't. I bought a hot dog. It was so busy. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm going to say, and you'll hear it on an upcoming podcast. This model train show was the first time they were running, but of course they had two great people, between Dave Owens and John Sacerdoti behind the show. So of course it's going to, we've got the people that helped put on the big show in West Springfield behind it.
Mm-hmm.
It was at a middle school in Vernon, Connecticut, right off of I-84, pretty much located somewhere between Hartford and Boston. They were expecting 300 through the door for this first show, and they got 500 people.
Wow.
They did great. And they had some great vendors there, a couple local hobby shops, had some folks selling their own personal collections. You had New Haven Historical Society was represented there. They just did a fantastic job. They had, I think, 3 different layouts to check out, and it was within a middle school cafeteria and a middle school gym. And it was so fun. It was so simple.
So cool.
It was just so great to have like that little one day, not a huge commitment, just a 5-6 hour show. It was awesome. And I hope we start to see more of those popping up in at least our area and throughout everywhere. It's
very cool.
That's going to be good. So Tony, thank you for coming on this Friday night to do this giveaway, and I appreciate your support. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Model Train Resource? Because we talked about the car, but we didn't talk about Model Train Resource. So why don't you tell us about what your project is there?
Still trying to get all my hobby history sites back up and running, and my friend Pamela is working on some of that for me, and I see some of the behind the scenes, so it's coming back together. It shows news things in the Yardmaster notes where I post new products, and I was doing a What's in the Box page there on Wednesdays where I would show basically as I was, reviewing or working on something, just a quick picture of a new item, and I've started adding videos for that, and that you can find a link on the modeltrainresource.com page. I think I saw Pamela put up a page that I think shows thumbnails of the What's in the Box videos, and Monday my first What Does It Do video comes up, and I test the Frisco version of the new Rapido HO-Scale U25B and show like some of its DCC functions, take the shell off, show you the mechanism, that kind of stuff. So that's What Does It Do will pop up Wednesday or Monday of next week. And on Wednesdays, I do What's in the Box, and sometimes more. I think I did an extra one this week because I had a special run AccuRail release that I got that I thought was just too cool to wait on. And it was a special run done for a car club in Illinois. And it's a Ford stamping plant or Ford stamping. It's basically that ACF Hi-Cube prototype, but put on a little 50-foot AccuRail boxcar. So kind of a cool model. And when I saw it, it's like, oh, I got to have one of those. So when I got it, I did a video just showing it off because it's an odd and uncommon release.
So I'd like you folks to do, if you're here watching us live or if you're catching us on the replay, show your support to Model Train Resource. Check out their website and then do this as well. Go to their Facebook page. Very simple. Facebook.com/Model Train Resource, and follow them on Facebook as well. They put a lot of posts up there. Tony shares a lot of that information. So do us all a solid and show your support for Tony and his Model Train Resource project. It's really cool to document the history of this hobby and be able to go back and reminisce and see the things that you can remember from an era gone by. Certainly a lot of fun.
Very neat, very neat. Well, congratulations again to Chris Palmieri tonight for I'll be sending him. I think he gets Model Railroad News already.
He could use a second copy. He can put it in the other room.
I'll have to, yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll throw something. I may have some Halloween candy left over that I'll give him.
There you go. That's a good way to get rid of it. Get it out of your house and stick it with Chris.
I was talking to Mike Zucker, my friend up at Spring Creek Model Trains this week about Halloween stuff. He goes, well, I'm lucky because I don't have to go anywhere, but I got the dad tax.
Uh-huh.
And I said, the what? He says, the kids come in the door. I said, okay, dad tax. And I get to go through and I take all the candy that I want. I'm like, wow, that's mean.
I tried the dad tax thing here.
Yeah.
I've got 2 daughters, 10. Well, the tax I'm looking to collect, apparently there's something very wrong with my neighborhood because nobody was giving away Smarties. And I am a big Smarties fan. That's the if you're going to give me, you can have the sugar stuff. I want that powdery. I want to eat chalk. I love the taste of Smarties and not a single Smartie in either one of those bags. And I know they don't eat them, so they didn't take them from me. They
didn't. Yeah, wow. This year I gave out Pop Rocks this year. They were little packages of the candy, and I found little Benny cheese balls. And is it Oots or Utes? UTZ? The little Utz.
Yeah.
That I found they were little Halloween things of cheese balls that were about the size of like an M&M. And the kids really like those, as did Bandit, that afterwards I had some left over. So Bandit was crunching cheese balls later. In fact, that evening, the second section guys had that wonderful show with Bob Fascarella showing his St. Louis slideshows. You can find that on YouTube as well if you go to the second section YouTube channel. And it's a great show of St. Louis memories. And so we sat eating cheese balls after the trick-or-treaters and watched that show.
How much did Ostertag pay you for that plug? Because we talk about tax. I'm going to tax you for it.
They're the kings of not sponsored. So
yeah.
If I'm out here plugging their stuff, I don't know how that works. He'd probably pay me an S scale Model Trains, which, because he's always beating that drum, I do have a collection of S scale that I have, bought over the years, odds and ends. When he'll mention something, I'm like, well, it does sound cool, and I'll pick one up. So
he's starting to wear on you. That's how it happens.
That's
little
how it happens.
Time.
Yeah. And then suddenly you're laying some track, and then suddenly you're moving your other scale stuff to a lower shelf, and you don't know how you got into 164th, and it just happened to you. So
how did I
get here? How is it suddenly I'm working in 164th? I don't know.
He'll get you.
That's how it goes. Yeah.
I do not eat the red ones last. I didn't know that was a thing, but I will definitely, maybe the next pack if I can figure out how to find, obviously I can go to the store and buy them, but that's not nearly as fun as finding them in a Halloween bag. But yeah, I'll have to try that. Eat the red ones last. But
didn't know.
So again, everybody, facebook.com/Model Train Resource. Check out Tony Cook and all the projects you do. You are a man of many hats, but you wear them all well, and it's an honor to have you here on the show, and appreciate your support of the operating crew. And I look forward to seeing you mid-month for our What's Happening in Model Railroading show. So
thanks a lot, Ray. Fun show tonight. Always fun to give stuff away.
And great to see everybody. Enjoy your Friday night. Enjoy.